Good morning YouTube and welcome back to my channel. This is Lydia with Sweet King's Garden, and this video is the second video of the pregnancy series that is found on my channel. So I thank you for coming back, and for those who are just seeing this video for the first time, just a quick recap. My husband and I are backyard gardeners in Maryland and we have less than an acre of property. I started my channel back in January 2022, and the theme of this channel has just been me figuring out gardening, growing a lot of things for the first time, and just really recording our journey. Another part of our journey is we've been on a quest to expand our family, and my husband and I, after 3.5 years of trying, are finally expecting our very first baby via the IVF process. So this series is really just talking about my pregnancy. The very first video I released is all about my fertility journey, so I encourage you to check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, from today forward, I'm really just going to be talking about how pregnancy has been going so far for me. I will also start this video by letting you know that I am currently 15 weeks and 4 days pregnant. By the time you see this video, I'll probably be closer to 16 weeks. So this video is all about the first trimester recap. The next video that you will see will talk about my experience so far in the second trimester, and my experiences have been quite different between the two trimesters. So to begin, the first trimester for me. So my husband and I found out we were pregnant around the 3.5 mark because of the IVF process, and my symptoms really didn't begin until week 6. And the main symptoms I had was just lack of energy and food aversions. And I guess the third would also be nausea, all day of nausea. I honestly was not feeling well, but I was very gracious to the process. I would absolutely do it again because all of that was a sign that my body was doing what it needed to do to start growing a baby. So let's start with the lack of energy. So my regular routine before getting pregnant, I was very active and am now starting to become very active again. But I would always do something active on my lunch break, whether that was walking, running, gardening, and then after work I would usually bolt right out here to the garden and get some garden chores done, and then maybe hit up a gym class or two. However, once week 6 hit, I was so tired. I really only had energy to either do something on my lunch break and rest in the evening, or rest on my lunch break and do something in the evening. I could not do it all. And for me, that was a bit of a mind shift because I was feeling lazy, but then I was reminding myself I'm creating a baby, so I need to really just give myself some grace, be patient with myself, and really learn what my body needs. So energy level definitely was the lowest, probably between weeks 6 and week 10. Food aversions. So my food aversions actually started before I got pregnant as part of the IVF cycle because I was administering progesterone and estrogen in my body, and that was really just to prep my body to be as ideal as possible to hold on to a pregnancy. I just did not like the smell of meat. I could stomach it. It just smelled super gross to me, like rancid meat, even though it was perfectly good quality. Had I known, that was actually symbolic to what to expect in my first trimester. So flash forward, when I got pregnant, my food aversion started around week 6 as well. I couldn't even stomach eating meat, so the smell was still really disgusting to me. Even if I tried to take a bite of something, like my husband cooked these beautiful hamburgers and I made this burger like it was beautiful. I took one bite of it and could barely stomach the first bite and had to throw the rest away. It was awful, and it was like that for, again, all kinds of meat. So I did not really cook for several weeks. So my poor husband was on his own for a couple of weeks making his own meals, and we ate a lot of pizza during that time too. I wouldn't say that pizza was my pregnancy craving, rather than I just was interested in so little amount of food that in terms of like something that my husband would also like, pizza was just an easy dinner choice for us for several weeks. The second food aversion I had was like just strong flavors in general. So things like garlic, which I'm one of those people, if a recipe calls for 1, I'm adding 2 or 3. I could not stomach any garlic flavor in anything, even if I tried to hide it or add like a quarter of the amount of garlic that a recipe called for. Couldn't stomach it. It was so unfortunate. So I'm happy to say that that's subsided. Another thing I could not stomach was coffee. So I was a daily coffee drinker, and I did not wean myself off of it. Just one day I tried coffee and it wasn't doing anything for me. So I was like, I'm not gonna force myself to drink this if my body doesn't find it appetizing. So I stopped that probably around week 6 as well. So what could I eat is probably what you're thinking. So thankfully, I was really relying on protein shakes. So because I was not eating meat for several weeks, I did supplement my protein shakes with protein powder and collagen peptides. So even if you don't necessarily drink a shake, the collagen peptides are really nice, and I learned from my midwife you could actually dissolve that in water or some kind of beverage, and then that has a lot of protein in it as well. So my favorite shake that I had were acai. I'll try and summarize that protein shake below, but that was really good, and it was awesome for a breakfast because it was nice and hydrating first thing in the morning. Other than that, I would snack on like berries, hard cheeses, pretzels with peanut butter, apples with peanut butter, like really small snacks. And I really honestly just kind of listened to my body, whatever my body I felt like it wanted. I was like, okay, well, this is just what I had to eat. I did have like a few days where I was eating nothing but ramen noodles and like a quarter or a half of the seasoning pack in it, because again, that's all that my body could stomach, really. Yes, food aversions between weeks 6 and I'd say week 12. And then nausea, all day nausea. If I didn't have something in my stomach, and I let myself get too hungry, or if I ate too much and got too full, I was nauseous all day. I'm sure a lot of folks have heard morning sickness is a joke. It's all day sickness usually, and that's what happened to me. The energy level subsided, so I was back to my fairly normal energy level around week 10, thankfully. And then between weeks 10 and 12, my nausea started to subside, my food aversion started to subside, and then starting my second trimester, like magic, things resolved for the most part. So that is a huge relief. In terms of tips or tricks, what I learned from my midwife and other online resources is when you're pregnant, you have to drink a lot of water. I think the goal is to drink about 1 gallon of water a day. Make sure that you're drinking at least 1 electrolyte drink a day in addition to regular water. So I was never a soda drinker, juice drinker. I was always drinking water every day anyway, and I always felt like I was drinking a substantial enough amount of water. However, during my last midwife appointment, I did take a test, and she said that I was quite dehydrated, which I was surprised because I felt like I drank a good amount that day, not the full gallon, but I didn't think I was dehydrated. So that just tells you that if you think you're drinking enough water, you probably need to drink even more than that. That does come with frequent bathroom breaks, but that's okay. We have to do what we have to do, right? Thankfully, before week 6, I was really making every attempt to kind of pack my body and prepare my body with as much nutrients as possible in case I had any food aversions, because I've heard of people having aversions to fruits or vegetables, and I eat vegetables every single day. I have a full garden, and I had at that point a garden that I was expecting to harvest a lot of greens from. And so I made every attempt to eat salads every day with protein. Everything was like really well balanced. And thank goodness I did that, because week 6 really threw a monkey wrench. Another tip, and it's more so a holistic tip, and honestly not geared just specifically towards pregnancy, but more so just be in tune with your body. So really try to look inward and find out what your body needs. Listen to your body, or eat certain foods that you're finding that your body's craving. I know one day I had a craving for sushi, and it wasn't necessarily like raw fish sushi. I was craving the carbs and vegetables, so I just had several vegetable rolls of sushi, and it was just like a perfect way because I was able to get like the crunch of the cucumber and carrots and avocado along with the rice that I guess my body was craving the carbs for energy and whatnot. So just listen to your body. And of course, take all of the advice from your healthcare provider. I personally see a midwife, and she's been amazing to work with, and she definitely walks me through nutrition and how I'm feeling during every single appointment, and I just appreciate the guidance that she's provided me so far. In terms of resources, I do want to share 2 resources with you. The very first is a book called Real Food for Pregnancy, and I'll show a picture of what that book looks like here. And that book is written by Lily Nichols, and it is a fantastic book, reference book, and even if you're gearing up to get pregnant, it's just a great way to learn about nutrition and what your body needs both prior to getting pregnant, during pregnancy, and even postpartum. So it's been a phenomenal resource. I read it cover to cover several years back when my husband and I were trying, and then I'm starting to read certain reference points within that book now that I'm actually pregnant. But it's really nice with just providing you with some awareness. Then the second resource is the Real Food Dietitian's website. I referenced that in one of my last videos during my garden tour. It's just a really great website for real food recipes. So if you're having any type of food aversions like I did, where you have like a need for a vegetarian diet, you can certainly filter recipes by that. But otherwise, it's just a great way for you to find recipes that incorporate just really good food for your body. That's really good for both your body and for your baby's development. That website is not focused on pregnancy. It's just a general resource, and one that I've been using for the past several years. And in fact, I bought their cookbook, Real Food Table cookbook, and I'll show a picture of that over here as well for you. Additional resources that I found not related to food, as you can see, I'm a big foodie, that is several podcasts. The past couple of years, I've learned a lot about birth stories and what it's like to be pregnant and whatnot because of just listening to stories. And my most favorite podcast to listen to is called The Birth Hour, and I will link that down below, and you can find that on Spotify and probably other streaming platforms. But that is a phenomenal resource because you can hear about all kinds of birth stories, whether you're looking for a home birth like I am, or if you're hoping for a hospital birth, medicated, unmedicated. Birth is birth, and that is just amazing in itself, no matter the method. However, if you're looking to learn about a specific experience, or you really just want to broaden your perspective to see like what has happened, it's just a great way to hear different experiences. Then the second podcast that I absolutely love, and this is more of a humorous spin, but very excellent, and that is the Big Fat Positive Pregnancy podcast. And that is led by 2 friends that got pregnant at the same time, and they take you through their journey. And I listened to them several years ago when they first started, and now I'm re-listening to them because they provide weekly check-ins as well, beginning at week 10, I believe. The biggest thing that I learned so far has been my body has changed so much in the 15 plus weeks that I've been pregnant, and it's all about relearning my body. And once you learn it, your body's usually changing yet again, so you're constantly on your toes with learning. And I've heard that that is very similar to when you're actually raising a little one, because of course they are going through stages, and you just have to relearn and adjust as time goes on and they develop. So if you look into that messaging, I feel like that will set us up for success for parenting and whatnot as well, and to also just be patient with ourselves. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see you next time. Take care.